They're playing the Minnesota Wild tonight. Vice President of the St. Louis Blues, Steve Chapman. Good morning, Steve Chapman.
Good morning. It certainly appears as if hockey weather has returned.
Yes.
To Blue, does it not?
Yes. Just the temperature cools down as the schedule heats up. You guys got a rough patch coming through here, don't you?
Well, we do. It's a challenging patch for sure. We have 9 of our next 12 are against the Central Division, which if anybody were to pull up a standings in the National Hockey League, you'll see that the Central Division is one of the most challenging divisions in hockey. So right now we're sitting in a pretty good spot, but Minnesota comes in, kind of hungry, and I wouldn't call it. We're not quite to the stage of being desperate yet, but they know that they've got a little bit of ground to make up. So it is. It's going to be challenging over the next month because a lot's going to play out with as we play within our division.
All right, Steve Chapman, you come on the show. We talk the Blues. I'm a fan. I sit and watch, and I enjoy, and I root. But be honest, some of these fans who criticize sports teams, they really have no idea what they're talking about, right? I mean, right? I mean, whether it's the host or the caller, right? I mean, you sit in a very unique position to know the truth, and then you listen to it on the radio or television or newspapers, and you realize that the people talking and reporting have no idea what's going on.
Well, I think 2 things, and one's going to be you're probably going to roll your eyes because you're going to think it's a political answer, but I do believe it. I mean, if you're a fan and you pay your money and you follow a team, I mean that's kind of the fun of it, right? I mean it's kind of fun to it's the sports version of Melrose Place, right? To be able to speculate and oh this player that player what's going on, I tell you what amazes me is how, and I laugh about this with Doug Armstrong sometimes because I'm like, boy, one day you're an idiot, and the next day you're a genius, and he's the same guy, right? It doesn't matter what profession you're in. You make decisions based on information and knowledge and everything else, and hey, the good ones, things work out well over time, but you know what? People just love to talk about it, and they love to look at it in a different light than I guess they look at their own jobs, And so, anyway, it's the fun of it. I will admit there are times when I overhear things where I'm like, this person does not have a clue as to what's going on right now. But that's fine. As long as you're a fan, you support the team, hey, we welcome everybody.
How can I get angry with an answer where you invoke Sydney from Melrose Place and Jake? I mean, that is bringing it, Steve Chapman, early on a Tuesday morning. All right. I mean, that shows you weren't a 90210 fan, too, were you? Because I'm going to fall off my seat.
I don't know if we have enough time for this, but I have a great story. When I was a general manager, I was a first-year general manager in the East Coast Hockey League, and I had a goalie who was he was married, but his wife was staying behind in Toronto. And he lived at the same apartment complex as my players, and I knew him. We were almost the same age. I think I was a couple years older than him. And he called me up and he said, "Chappie, can I come over to your house?" And I was like, "The boys drive me crazy." He goes, "Well," I want to watch Melrose Place, and these guys don't take it seriously." and I laughed at him, and I said, "Yeah, sure, come on over." Well, you won't believe this, but Mark Michaud was his name. He got me hooked on Melrose Place, and from that day on, if we were on the road or home, we were watching Melrose Place whenever. I think it was Monday night, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So anyway, a minor league goaltender got me hooked on Melrose Place, which was probably one of the funniest things ever.
I thought Laura Layton's. Remember Sydney? She was the best.
Oh my gosh, totally.
She was the best. The little vixen came in and ruined the whole apartment complex.
You ever seen that? Seinfeld episode where Jerry's yelling that he can't believe that this happened? He's trying to act like he's not a Melrose Place fan. That was Mark. That was Michaud and I. Like we couldn't believe it. What's he doing with her?
All right, Steve Chappie. Blues Minnesota Wild tonight, 7:00. Tickets still available. Anything else this week we should know about?
Well, just coming. Like I said, it's a month of Central Division opponents. We'll be back on the ice this Thursday. So Tuesday, Thursday, and then I do have to say this: a rare Sunday, almost morning game. We kick off at 11:30 against Pittsburgh, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
By the way, speaking of time starts, tell the bosses in New York who set the TV schedule that the Super Bowl, the most watched sporting event in America started at 5:30 here in the Midwest.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, amen.
Yeah.
I'm on your side.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good day.
All right, buddy.